Okay, so I promised you guys a editing tutorial. I've kind of had this issue where it doesn't seem to look the best quality on no matter what I recorded on. So I'm just gonna, you're just gonna get it as it comes. So I just chose this photo of my cousin, did her senior portraits. Normally the first thing I do is the tone curve. Definitely one of my favorite features in editing. And also as of lately I've kind of just been maybe starting at the bottom and working my way up, kind of backwards, and there's so many different places to start. Usually I like to add a little warmth in my photo, so maybe I start there. Usually my second favorite tools are being able to manipulate the colors. So that's a big part in my editing. But let me just start in basic order I usually would start in. So usually like to get the tone curve tool, and as you see, the more I bring it in and down, the blacks are stronger, and if I bring it up, it brings out the whites. So what I usually like to do is kind of get like a nice soft matte looking photo, which I guess is like a good balance of like I bring in the darks and then I bring them up. So get kind of a nice moody looking photo here. And then right away you can just double check what you've done. So normally I do like to bring up the lighting. You can see when I do this here, it brings out a lot of whites, but it's a little too much for right now. So just get a little light on the subject's face. And then I would probably bring down those highlights from the background, which also you could do the whites. Shadows would be usually next. You can see it brings out details in her hair and the tree behind. So I don't really need too much of that to be showing. So just bring it up a little bit. Not gonna mess with that contrast or the black. Sometimes when I'm going for those darker photos, I'll bring the blacks down. But so then we'll see the photo itself's already pretty yellow from the sun that day. So I'm kind of liking that. It's a little more to the green and the blue side. Yeah, it's just a little too much yellow for right now. Alright, so liking that. Moving on. And then I'll see like the main color here is going to be yellows and greens. And a lot of the time the yellow, or let's see, maybe the green. Sometimes the green and yellows kind of affect each other, so doesn't look too bad right now. And I'm not a big fan of the green, but I love to edit the green because then I can make it more of a color that I like. So usually I like to bring the greens down for like a nice dark green, and usually I'll also bring the saturation down so it's like a really dark green, kind of like that. I don't know if you can see very well in the video. And then the yellow would probably be mostly it's her hair and the flower she's holding. So I usually like to make my yellows a little more on the orange side. And then just kind of playing with the colors. Like, do you want it more saturated or more neutral? I like it to look not like over edited, you know, so I try to keep it pretty pretty light on the color editing. Orange is probably going to be like her face, so I don't really want to mess with that, but I do like to bring the luminance up so it'll brighten her face. And that's like a pretty big thing that I would say I use. And then yeah, you could see it would make her face more red or more yellow, and I don't really want to mess with that either, so we're just gonna kind of leave it. There's not really red in the photo, just maybe some nail polish. The pink, there's a little bit of pink in the flower, so you just kind of see if it even does anything. Sometimes it doesn't. So again, don't really need to mess with that. And then maybe there might be a little bit of blue in her dress. Yeah, so, and again, I don't really want her dress to look blue, so I'm just gonna bring down the saturation, and that I'm just gonna leave. And then you can see it kind of brightens up those whites. So sometimes white can look like blue, so be careful when editing that. Lately I've been liking to use this clarity button. Now I've seen people say like, oh, you know, vignette and clarity and all that stuff's kind of tacky, but I would just say remember to be true to yourself and what you like. And that's really what's going to matter at the end of the day. Your clients might express like, oh, I don't want my photos to look like this or like that, but I think that gets you too much in your head, and then you're trying to make their photos the way they want them to look, when in reality they wouldn't have booked photos with you if they didn't like your editing style. So just stay true to you. Stay true to what you like. Half the time, nobody even notices the difference. So yeah, so I bring the clarity up and the texture, bring it down so it didn't look too sharp, and it still adds that like softness to it. And then something I always like to do, especially with portraits, I would say, is use the vignette tool. I think that's how you say it. And it makes those edges dark or white. So I like a nice dark moody photo. I usually bring that midpoint all the way down and then the feather all the way up. So it's like a nice soft look, and it's not just like a black circle around your subject. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Like, that's literally all there is to it. Oh no, what did I do? So you can you can do crop or healing and all that stuff, but I really don't. So here's just a quick before and after of that photo. And then just let me know if you have any more questions, and I'll try to do more of these. Thank you.